Round one of the Giants head coaching search has already gotten off to a start. You guys have seen the reports. Kevin Stefanski and Mike Kafka have already been interviewed. Other coaches are going to follow. Who's the favorite? Who's got a shot? And who's pretty much a formality? We're going to talk coaching candidates with our New York Post Sports columnist and your 2025 New York Co-Sportswriter of the Year, Steve Serby. First and foremost, congratulations, Serby. Are you available to interview for the Giants job?
Well, I will thank you, first of all, Brandon. I'd like to be interviewing the candidates.
Oh,
I could, with my, I'm very good I'm a very good judge of character, Brandon.
okay.
You've always been high on my character list yourself. But I know how to, I know what makes people tick. And if the Giants were smart, they would let me in on the interview sessions. But that being said, they don't need me to determine that John Harbaugh and Kevin Stefanski are far and away the two candidates for their head coaching vacancy that should be hired without even bothering to interview anyone else, or even if they have to. But those two, you can't go wrong with Harbaugh. We know his resume speaks for itself. He just got stale in Baltimore, and stale with Lamar Jackson, and stale maybe with Derrick Henry. But after 18 years, that's what happens. He'll be reinvigorated now and with something to prove in his next stop. And Stefanski, two-time NFL Coach of the Year, was saddled with some quarterback drama and turmoil the last couple of years, as we know. Deshaun Watson, that whole deal, and then Shador and Dylan Gabriel and Flacco to start the year. But he is just what the doctor ordered for Jackson Dart. And he is a guy who can command the room and command instant respect and accountability, obviously very important. And he checks all of those boxes. And it's Harbaugh and Stefanski, 1 and 2 in that order. And if Harbaugh goes to Miami, which is not out of the question, then Stefanski would be the choice.
But why Stefanski automatically over Mike McCarthy, and why Jim Harbaugh over Mike McCarthy? Their resumes are pretty much comparable.
You mean John Harbaugh?
John Harbaugh, sorry, John Harbaugh. Yep.
Yeah, well, look, Mike McCarthy is not a bad choice, but Stefanski is younger, more energetic. Harbaugh and McCarthy are in their early 60s. That won't eliminate them. And I would have no problem with McCarthy either. But I think Stefanski is a more inspired choice. And Harbaugh, I just prefer Harbaugh over McCarthy, and Stefanski over McCarthy. If those two fall by the wayside, McCarthy would not be a bad choice.
All right, let's get to my second.
12 win seasons in Dallas, 3 years in a row. That's not chopped liver.
In the NFC East, let's get to the second tier of targets. I feel like that they're going to interview. You got Antonio Pierce, who they're interviewing today, former Giants legend, Lou Anarumo, and then you have Vance Joseph, who interviews virtually on Friday. Do you think any of these guys have a shot to land this job?
Well, they would all be long shots to me. Antonio Pierce, I covered him as a player. Liked him, a tremendous leader. He was the quarterback of that Giants defense back in the day, but I don't think he's quite ready to be a head coach. He had a little an interim job with the Raiders. I think he would be an ideal defensive coordinator and let him gain experience, more experience as a defensive coordinator before he takes on his next head coaching job. But he's a leader of men. There's no question about that. Anarumo, the thing that I like best about Lou Anarumo is he reads the New York Post. He's from Staten Island. He did a nice job in Indianapolis, considering all the injuries he had, and he got to a Super Bowl with the Bengals, only to lose to the Rams a few years ago. So he knows Joe Shane, but I compared to the Stefanskis and the John Harbaughs and the McCarthys, he's a notch below. Excellent defensive coordinator, but I can't see him as the New York Giants head coach right now. Vance Joseph, I believe he won 11 games in 2 years with the Broncos, but he's been under the tutelage of Sean Payton the last couple of years. He's ready to be a head coach. I really believe that. But again, and the Giants, we know what he might be able to fix with the New York Giants defense. But what is appealing about Vance Joseph is he could bring Davis Webb with him as his offensive coordinator. Davis Webb, one of the most likable and respected offensive minds in the NFL. He will be a head coach someday. Former backup. Davis Webb was going to be the heir apparent to Eli Manning, but he just couldn't cut it as the quarterback. But he's going to be a head coach in the NFL one day. That's what's appealing about the Vance Joseph Davis Webb connection. But again, I don't think Vance Joseph will command the same interest, or should he, as Harbaugh, Stefanski, and possibly McCarthy.
My last tier of guys, or like I like to call them, they need to wow. They're need to wow guys. Raheem Morris, he interviewed today. Clint Kubiak, and then Mike Kafka already interviewed as well. Any shot in the dark for any of these three, Serby?
No. I'm very high on Mike Kafka. I believe he will be a head coach one day. He's interviewed for various head coaching jobs. Very bright. I thought he was in an impossible situation as interim coach of the Giants. Let's face it. But Jackson Dart had great respect for him. I think most of the players did. He's a very bright guy, and he was tough when he needed to be. He did discipline Abdul Carter, which is not easy for a substitute teacher to do when you take that job. But Kafka will be an offensive coordinator somewhere. Raheem Morris did well at the end. People thought he was going to save his job in Atlanta, but he's a defensive mind. I don't see him right now as the New York Giants head coach, or maybe not even a coach right now in the NFL. And the other one we mentioned was Clint Kubiak. Yeah. He could be a head coach in this cycle. Look what he's done with Sam Darnold in Seattle. They're a legitimate Super Bowl threat. Comes from great lineage. His father, Gary Kubiak, an offensive mind. I spoke to one of the Seahawk players earlier in the year. They love Kubiak. They love his offense and how quarterback friendly it is. So yeah, Clint Kubiak would be a consideration. He'd align well with Jackson Dart for sure. Again, with all these guys, it's so much depends on the staff that you hire. Yeah. And Kubiak has not been a head coach, obviously. The Giants don't need to roll the dice at this point. They need a proven, established CEO winner as their head coach. The Giants cannot afford to get this wrong. So that's why Harbaugh, Stefanski, and third McCarthy are my choices.
Well, I got a CEO for you, but it's not an NFL CEO type head coach. A couple weeks ago, Marcus Freeman was sitting in this very studio. I asked him about interest in the Giants job. He's obviously running it back at Notre Dame, but Indiana Hoosiers head coach Curt Cignetti's name is getting a lot of buzz as a potential NFL head coaching candidate, especially if they win the national championship at Indiana. So if you're Joe Shane, do you check the temperature there? And do you feel as though Curt Cignetti could be the next Giants head coach?
No, he will not be the next Giants head coach. But Google him, though. Google him, as he'd be the first to suggest that. But yeah, look, Fernando Mendoza could be the first overall pick in the draft. He's done an unbelievable job resurrecting Indiana. But is he Jimmy Johnson? Is he going to come into the NFL and win a couple of Super Bowls? The Giants can't afford to take that risk. Nick Saban, remember Nick Saban when he came into the NFL with the Miami Dolphins? Didn't work. Not saying that Cignetti can't be a successful NFL head coach, but not New York, not now.
All right, Steve Serby, appreciate you commenting on who you think could or could not be the next Giants head coach. Second round, we will be coming back to you with your thoughts.
Stefanski, Harbaugh, in that order. Harbaugh, Stefanski, in that order. I'd be happy with either one. I think, and Giant fans would be happy with either one. They need a proven winner. No more projections about whether an assistant head coach can be a winning head coach. Go with the sure thing. Go with what you know. The team, Jackson Dart, is sick and tired of losing. The Giant players are sick and tired of losing. Giant fans are sick and tired of losing. Bring a winner, a guy who knows how to build a program, command respect, and win games.
Thanks, Serby.